Hi everyone, I'm Whitney from Sugar and Sparrow, and today I'm showing you how to make an eggless vanilla cake recipe that is so soft and moist, full of vanilla flavor, and could not be easier to make, even without an electric mixer. It can be made fully vegan if you need an egg-free and dairy-free cake. I'm extra excited to offer this recipe because so many of you have been asking for eggless cake recipes for years, and I did tons of testing to really nail this recipe down. In the end, I'm so happy with how this eggless vanilla cake turned out, and I cannot wait for you to try it. Here are the ingredients we'll use. 2.5 cups or 265 grams of sifted cake flour, which gives this cake a super soft texture. 1.5 cups or 300 grams of granulated sugar. 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, which is part of the egg replacer in this recipe. A half teaspoon of salt. 1.5 cups or 360 milliliters of whole milk at room temperature. If you want this cake to be dairy-free, you can use soy milk in place of this. 1 tablespoon of pure vanilla extract, which gives this cake amazing vanilla flavor. A half cup or 120 milliliters of vegetable oil, which adds tons of moisture. And 1.5 tablespoons of white distilled vinegar, which is the other part of the egg replacer in this recipe. I always start by sifting the cake flour, and there are 2 ways that you can measure this. You can either sift it into a large bowl and then spoon the cake flour into a measuring cup before leveling it off, or you can sift the cake flour right into a bowl on your kitchen scale to measure it by weight, which is what I'm doing here. Once I've got my 2.5 cups or 265 grams of sifted cake flour measured, I add to it 1.5 cups or 300 grams of granulated sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, and a half teaspoon of salt. Turn the mixer to low speed to combine these dry ingredients. Like I mentioned previously, you don't need a stand mixer for this recipe. You can alternatively use a large bowl and whisk to make this cake batter. Next, I combine the wet ingredients in a large liquid measuring cup. I already have 1.5 cups or 360 milliliters of whole milk at room temperature, and I'm adding in a half cup or 120 milliliters of vegetable oil, 1 tablespoon of pure vanilla extract, and 1.5 tablespoons of white distilled vinegar. Whisk the wet ingredients together and then pour them into the dry ingredients while the mixer is going at low speed. Once the batter starts coming together, I like to scrape down the bowl and paddle, then let the mixer run on low speed for another 20 seconds. It doesn't take long to combine the ingredients, so be careful not to overmix. Now that we have the batter ready to go, I pour it evenly between my cake pans. I'm using 3 6-inch cake pans that I've previously prepared by spraying the sides with baking spray and lining the bottoms with parchment paper. You can alternatively use 2 8-inch cake pans with this recipe. We'll bake these cake layers in a 350-degree oven for 24 to 28 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted comes out clean. Remove the cake layers from the pans and let them cool completely to room temperature on a cooling rack. Once these cake layers have cooled completely, I like to level them, which is a totally optional step since these cake layers bake pretty flat. I wanted to show you how beautiful the inside of this cake layer turned out though. So soft and just the perfect texture. If you're making the vegan version of this cake and substituting soy milk for whole milk, here's how these cake layers look inside. I did try this recipe with other non-dairy milks and it didn't turn out quite stable enough, so soy milk is my top recommendation if you need a vegan version. I filled and frosted these eggless vanilla cake layers with my vanilla buttercream recipe, which I will link below. If you're making the vegan version of this cake, I do have a vegan vanilla buttercream recipe that tastes amazing with this cake, and I'll link that as well. The beauty of a vanilla cake is that it tastes amazing with any frosting flavor, so feel free to get creative. To decorate the cake, I frosted a smooth buttercream finish with the vanilla buttercream and pressed some rainbow sprinkles onto the bottom third of the cake. Then I topped it with buttercream swirls I made with Wilton Tip 4B and more rainbow sprinkles. It's a simple design, but I love it so much for a party cake. This eggless vanilla cake tastes amazing, has a beautifully soft and moist texture, and is so quick to whip up. It's also extremely versatile as you can easily make it vegan if you need. I'm so excited for you to make this for your friends and loved ones. I am planning on coming up with some more eggless cake recipes in the coming weeks and months, so stay tuned for more flavors. In the meantime, you can hit the subscribe button on my channel page so you never miss a new YouTube video. You can also head to my blog at sugarandsparrow.com for more recipes, cake decorating tutorials, and ideas for your cake making. Thanks for watching!